First, you'll get paid for what you do. Then you'll get paid for what you know. And if you get there, eventually you can get paid for who you are. Deal with the consequences of your actions. Me and you and most men are fully aware that we make certain choices in our life, and when we make those choices, sometimes they're hard forks that alter our life in one way or the other, and that's just the way it is, and that's the way life is going to be now, and it's irrevocably changed. So was it worth it? Maybe. If something good comes out of it, then I'm glad it happened. So I've just got to enjoy the ride, I guess. I can't sit here crying every day, can I? So that's why I'm fighting so hard, and I'll continue to fight. But when someone sits there and says, oh, Andrew and Tristan Tate, they come from money. They come from a wealthy family. Oh, they didn't make it all themselves. They got helped out by X, Y, and Z. That offends me. You see, that offends me more than being called any type of criminal. Because, a lie about me will bounce off. But when you are lying in a way that discredits the hard work that I've put in and discredits, I guess, my work ethic and my intellect and everything I put into having the life that I have now, then I get offended. From living in America broke, I moved to England when I was 8. I lived in a homeless shelter for 2 years. It was me, my sister, my brother, and my mother in a single room of a government housing program house. The other rooms were occupied by other families, some of them with drug problems, violence problems. It was very loud. We lived in that homeless shelter for 2 years before we were eventually given a council house. My mother worked as a cleaner, cleaning kitchens. Her hands were always, cut and swollen up. And that motivation of seeing your mother exhausted from working jobs that frankly are beneath her. I don't want my mother scrubbing someone else's floors, washing someone's plates in someone else's restaurant. I didn't want that. So I wanted better for her and my whole family, not just better for myself. And this was way before I even thought of having children. But as a man, I think it was always my job to do better. I knew that I was gifted with something. I knew I could make something out of life.
There's a version of you that never sleeps in, never skips training, never wastes time. There's a version of you who never fails. It is waiting for you. Genuinely ask yourself a question, you at home. If you had done those things for the last 2 years, you never skipped a training, you never wasted time, you never scrolled TikTok, you never sat aimlessly on the internet typing in garbage, never played video games, you never wasted time. You never skipped training, you were training every single day. You never slept in, you were never lazy. There's this version of you. Imagine the person you would be. Genuinely imagine what you would look like. Imagine where you would live. Imagine the car you would drive. Imagine how much your woman would respect you. Imagine the love you would see in her eyes when she looks at you with adoration like a king. Imagine your existence. That person is waiting for you. And the only thing that's stopping you from being that person is your monumental laziness. You can have it. The universe is very giving. It will give you anything you work for. I've never seen somebody try for something with all of their might and not get it. The only people who do not have the things they want are the people who do not try for them. I've never seen a person wake up and say, my only dedication in life is to solve a Rubik's Cube and fail. You are not stupid. You are not incompetent. You are lazy and arrogant. It's extremely important you understand that that person is waiting for you and you are declining that version of yourself. In the multiverse, in the many different versions of the universe that exist, there is a version of you that does those exact things. And he is a greater person than you can even fathom. You can transform yourself into that guy. You can be a top G. That's exactly what I did. I knew who I was going to have to end up being before I became that person. My brother and I are not from rich families. We are not from advantaged beginnings. But I knew I had to be a big, strong, fighting billionaire. That's what I knew I had to be.
Actually, a very interesting point that I'll go in on for a second. So we started kickboxing. It was enough to pay the bills. We lived in a very bad town, a very rough town. All of your English friends and staff here will know how bad that town is. And back then I would get offers to commit crimes for money. I'd get offers for go and collect money from these people. They owe these dealers money. You're a big kickboxer. Protect us when we go here, maybe move this package A to package B. And I refused every single offer to commit any crime for money. I'd rather spend my time at the kickboxing gym and keep my head down. Growing up poor was a blessing, and I wouldn't change it.
Discipline is the key to success. If you cannot force yourself to do something you don't want to do, how are you ever going to put yourself through the suffering required for greatness? If you cannot force yourself to train when you do not want to train, if you cannot force yourself to work when you don't want to work, if you can't force yourself to not log into Pornhub or force yourself to eat right, how can you possibly ever become a monumentally successful person if you cannot control yourself long enough to do what must be done as opposed to what you feel like doing? The only people who get to live their lives based on how they feel are women and children. Children can cry because they feel like crying, as can a woman. A woman can start an argument because she feels like arguing, as can a child. A man must do what he is supposed to do irregardless of how he feels. That is the key component to masculinity, is discipline. If you do not have the discipline to dedicate yourself to anything, you are going to fail and be crushed by the people who can. If you only go to the gym when you feel like going to the gym, you're never going to be as strong as the people who go to the gym when they don't feel like going to the gym. That is a reality of life. So, I train every single day. I've actually heard from some people saying, you overtrain. And I explained to them, one, I don't believe in rest. I'm not you. I'm not pussy, and I'm not broke like you are, Mr. Fitness Trainer, standing around the gym teaching people for $50 an hour. I don't need to listen to you. Secondly, I don't train because I want to get bigger. I train every day because it is difficult to train every day. It hurts. I don't want to. I wake up and I'm busy. I have other things to do. I don't feel like doing it, so I force myself to do it 7 days a week, 365 days a year, so that I know I'm the kind of person who can do what he doesn't want to do when it needs to be done. I am that man. And it is more of a mental exercise than a physical exercise at this point. How can you ever outcompete me if I can force myself to do the things I don't want to do and you cannot? Discipline is absolutely essential for success, and you need to get very comfortable and very used to the idea of understanding that on your path to greatness, there are going to be long periods of time where you hate what you are doing, where you are dissatisfied with the actions you must undertake, where you are tired, where you are stressed. That is why it is difficult. That is why most people won't make it. If the path was easy, everybody would walk it and it would lead nowhere. 100 people start the path, 99 fall off because it is difficult, and the one person who makes it to the end gets the gold. If all 100 made it to the end and the gold was divided by 100, it wouldn't even be worth anything. The difficulty gives it value. The fact that it is difficult to do is the key component into the fact you want it in the first place. If it wasn't difficult, everyone would have it and you wouldn't want it because no one would respect it. It's supposed to be hard. Life is supposed to be hard. You're supposed to think this is terrible. You're supposed to suffer and smile through the pain regardless. Discipline is the key to success in all realms as a man. And if you lack it, you stand no chance. You can give most people a roadmap to success. You can give them a Ferrari with a full tank of gas, and a lot of people still wouldn't make the destination because they would say the drive is too far away. Quitters, they don't have the discipline. You can tell them exactly how to do it. You can give them the mechanism to get there, but they don't have the discipline to complete the drive and end up at the destination. That is the majority of Earth. This is your competition. People who, even if they are told what to do and people tell them exactly how to do it and help them do it, still quit, still fail because they lack discipline. Even me, with my monumental powers, I can't make a quitter successful. It doesn't matter how good I am. It doesn't matter how easily I make it for them to succeed. It doesn't matter how compendious and concise and powerful the real world is. It doesn't matter how much I text them and motivate them, how many emergency meetings I do to try and talk to them and hype them up, how much motivation I give them. It doesn't matter what I do. If they are a quitter, guess what they're going to do? They're going to quit. No matter how simple the map is to read, no matter how fast the Ferrari is, somewhere along the drive, the sun's going to get in their eyes, and they're gonna sit there and go, I don't like this is hard, and they're gonna quit. Quitters are the number one type of people that nobody can help. If you're a quitter, I can't help you, life can't help you, God himself cannot help a quitter. So if you lack discipline, you lack the very basic building block to any type of success which exists on the planet. By every single metric which can be measured with science, you are going to stay a loser and a failure.
Well, every conversation my brother and I have ever had when we were broke somehow revolved around money. And we've run many businesses that did well for a little bit, then failed. We've tried to launch projects using the last of our money.
And you were
that
always
have
doing
failed.
this together, right?
Always together. I couldn't have imagined it any other way. We tried to bring various drinks we like from Eastern Europe to sell in UK supermarkets, set up meetings, invested all of our last money in this project. Everyone told us no, and failed. We had this idea once to set up a system where people could run remember those competitions or win a vacation, text this to this number. We tried to middleman that and allow other people to run text competitions on a premium rate phone line that we set up. And we set it up and tried to market it, lost all of our money. Once again, we were broke eating ramen noodles. So we've tried everything. I mean, we've done all sorts of failed and successful businesses over the years. And I think it was just persistence that got us there. A lot of people are going to get, kicked in the nuts and take a fall, and they're going to let it beat them down. Andrew's lost very important kickboxing matches. Did he quit fighting then? Did I quit fighting when I got my ass kicked a couple times? No, you don't. You just have to continue, because in life, there are only winners and losers. There are no participation trophies. There's no, stickers and everyone's invited to have a good time. Life is hard, and everyone in life is actually trying to play the same game. If you're a sportsman, you like racquetball, I've heard, for example. Yeah. There's a small pool of people who play racquetball, and you have to compete within that pool to be the best, and maybe you become the world champion. There's a small pool of people who compete at kickboxing, professional soccer, and the bigger the pool is, the more difficult it is. Well, life is the only game where every single one of us 8.1 billion people is trying to play the exact same game. And the same game is, there's only so much money in the world. There's only so many resources. There's only so much happiness. I'm going to try to provide for my family as best as I can. And whether people say money's not important or is important, everyone's part of this game. So winning is very difficult. And you have to keep trying when you get kicked and you fall down. And that's the advice I give to every young man who listens to me.
I don't like the word failure. Okay. I always looked at it as, if this didn't work, it's a learning experience. How am I going to figure it out and do better the next time? Or, okay, this didn't work, I got to get on to something else. So you have that entrepreneurial spirit and that determination and motivation. That's what started you on this path right now. It's always been work. This is working. And now I got this.
You didn't just get fortunate. I'll tell you, before the internet existed, when you were living that interesting life that you used to live, that everyone wants to hear about, that everyone wants to know the stories on, you didn't realize it at the time, but you were building your online brand then. It's not about fortunate, because if you had done none of the things you'd done, not lived the life that you had lived, you could have tried a million times harder to become a face on the internet, and no one would care who you are, and nobody would listen to you. So again, when you say it takes a decade of work, in your case, 4 or 5 decades to become an overnight success, you were putting the work in way before the internet even existed.
No,
so
you're right.
It wasn't fortunate. It was, it may not have been 100% purposefully done, but it was done, and it was done the right way.
The key is to keep training. If you train hard every single day, you don't have to worry about a little bit of vitamin C.
It's true.
If you don't train and you don't smoke, you're still going to be a pussy.
Yes.
The answer is always hard work. As soon as you are granted life, you are guaranteed death. What you do in between is up to you. You are all conscious. That could end tomorrow, that could end in 100 years. But the time between the beginning of your consciousness and the end of it is completely up to you. Training is never the wrong decision. If you're in jail, you should train. If you are free, you should train. If you are rich, you should train. If you are poor, you should train. If you smoke, you should train. If you don't smoke, you should train. If you drink, you should train. If you don't drink, you should train. You cannot escape that hard work is always the correct decision. There is no time in any scenario when working hard is going to be the wrong answer. You should always try your very best in all things. I will smoke 10 cigars a day and beat the shit out of you because I train harder than you can possibly fathom. Pain is an extremely important part of the equation. Pain is the elixir of success. When people say this bad thing happened to me and I'm suffering, I say good. It is pain which is required. It's one of the elements in the chemical reaction. If the chemical reaction requires 5 particular distinct compounds and you have 4 and you're missing 1, it simply doesn't work. Pain for a man is one of the most important elements in becoming successful. Batman is Batman because they killed his parents. If they did not kill his parents, he would not be Batman. You're supposed to suffer. You're supposed to take that pain. The worst thing that can happen to you as a man is you live a life with no pain in it. To be born into a rich family and have a nice, easy life and be given money and you don't have to go to the gym and not have to train because you have bodyguards and sit around like a fuck up. You're going to be miserable and unhappy and a drug addict buying prostitutes. You're only going to have women who adore you. You're only going to to feel confident in yourself and feel happy when you've been through hell and come out the other side. The pain is required. And you'll often notice that people who are better than you are people who have suffered more than you have suffered. So, the person who is waiting for you, he requires your motivation. It also requires huge amounts of pain. So when bad things happen to you, do not sit at home and lament. Do not feel sorry for yourself. Instead, look in the mirror and say, thank you, God, for giving me one of the ingredients that is needed for the chemical concoction that is going to turn me into a superhero. Because pain is an extremely important one. In fact, it's one of the most important ones for a man.
I used to work in a McDonald's drive-thru. I'm not ashamed of myself. I made hamburgers. Proud of it. You got paid for what you do, paid for what you know, and now you're getting paid for who you are. And you deserve it because you've been through all the hardships that's created the person who's I guess sitting in front of me. I want every fan of mine to build a life like me and end up in the position I'm in. I'm trying to drag people up, not bore them or talk garbage or encourage them to play video games or do drugs. I'm trying to drag all the young people up, needing to make money because my mom was working. I didn't just sit home and think, oh, well, she's my mom, this bitch better work. Did I? I thought, this is unacceptable that I'm as smart as I am and my mother's cleaning people's kitchens. I'm going to take care of my mother.
Right.
She flies on private jets now and always will, whether they put me in jail or not. It's in God's hands. And like I said, they can't make me care. They can't scare me. They can't bully me. They can't make me cry. They can't make me break down. They can't make me plead guilty to something I didn't do. I'd rather just go to jail because everyone I love is fine, jail or not. So, and that's, I guess, the side effect of being a hardworking, smart individual who set his life up in the right way. I ain't scared of prison.
Everything is war. All of it. Sitting in the commute without losing your patience is war. Trying to find a way to escape your slave job is war. Keeping your wife happy and your children inspired is war. Training to become stronger than before is war. It is all war, and it cannot be avoided. And I'll tell you why it's war, because war is two opposing sides trying to achieve the same goal. Two opposing sides want the same land or the same influence over X land. And the car you want, the Ferrari, you're not the only person who wants it. The reason it's so expensive is because others people want it. The girl you want, the beautiful woman, everyone wants her. It is war. It is competition. Everything about life as a man is war. It is conflict because you are competing against the other men who want it the same, which is why discipline is such an important thing, which is why you must take the pain and add it to the concoction to become as formidable as possible. Life is war. This idea that you can go through life as a man and avoid war is probably the biggest mistake that most men make, because it is impossible for you to achieve anything significant without war. Running a business is war. Running a hotel, running a restaurant, running an online company, it's war. Training is war. Life as a man is war. You need to wake up and view it exactly as what it is. Everything I want, other people want. Everything I desire, other men are trying to get. This is a war and I must outcompete them. That is the best possible mental model you can have. Even in jail, it was a war for who could stay most calm, a war who could control their mind the best, a war for who could suffer the least. That is war. I was surrounded by people who lost their minds and I refused. It was a battle and I was successful. Life in and of itself as a man is a never-ending struggle and a never-ending battle. It is the constant of the human condition.
Why would anything that makes you happy and doesn't hurt anybody else be wrong? No matter what you want to be in life and no matter what you want to do, whether it be, a dog trainer or a kickboxer or a zoo owner, it takes certain amounts of passion, time, and dedication. Network, connections, power, money. That's what makes you free. Money buys healthcare, and if you think you have healthcare, you do not. That's what I would say is the most crazy thing about having money. Try to make them notice you and realize your usefulness. Don't try to tell them that you're useful. Then I'm in a position where I was very lucky to have a good father figure and an older brother in my life to guide me over some of the hurdles that young men face. But a lot of hurdles that, young men face, they haven't got anybody to look up to, and they haven't got anybody to turn to. And I thought, let me just give this little bit of life advice out to the younger men out there. I said, I broke up with my ex. She's asking for me back. How do I know it's too late to take her back, or should I take her back, or should I not take her back? The answer to whether you or not you should take an ex-girlfriend back is very simple. And I know this, and most fully grown men probably know this. But for the younger guys out there, let me explain to you exactly what it is. If she has had another boyfriend or another sexual partner or another relationship since the breakup, it is too late to think about it. It is over at that point. Because no matter what happens in the relationship, no matter if you get married, have kids, if you stay together for a very long time, because that all happened because it didn't work out with the guy who she was with after your breakup. So you are always going to be plan B. You're always going to be the fallback guy. You're always going to be the idiot that's always there. So if she's had a week or two and, hung out with her girlfriends and cried into her pillow, by all means take her back. The moment there's been another guy in the scene at all, she's only interested in taking you back and getting back with you because it didn't work out with him. So don't let yourself be played like that. Yeah, don't be second place to anybody. So that's when it's too late. I think that the real definition of right and wrong actions are whether they cause other people harm. And I think that's everybody's definition.
Evolution requires pain. While others complain that they do not feel happy enough, I'm happy I'm struggling. I don't want to be happy. I want to be great. This is the beauty of life as a man. Do you understand? I don't care. I'm happy to be struggling. I wanted to fight. You wanted to win. I wanted to fight. That's the difference. You're concerned with winning. I wanted to just fight. And we're fighting. That is the beauty of life as a man, to be great. If you concern yourself only with being happy, you are once again acting like a female or a child. Happiness is fleeting. It doesn't even matter if you're concerned only with the hedonism of happiness. You're going to drink alcohol and go to parties and go to festivals and take drugs. I want to be happy. Who cares? I want to be great. I want to be great all of the time. And let me ask you a question as a man at home, genuinely, truthfully. Would you rather be a loser who's always smiling, a happy loser, or would you rather be a stressed winner? Because I'll tell you something about winners. Most of them are stressed.
We are stressed.
We're stressed. Putin is stressed. Genghis Khan was stressed when his messenger turned up after a 4-week ride with updates from the battlefront of Iran. I'm sure he was stressed by what he read. Even if it was very good, even if it all looked fantastic, he started to feel stressed. Okay, well now maybe I need to go to Iran. How long is it going to take me to get there? Maybe we need to send more horses. Maybe we need to colonize Iran. He felt stress because the beauty of life as a man is to be great. So you have to sit here and ask yourself, do you want to be a happy loser that's insignificant? Nobody knows you exist. Women don't respect you. Men don't respect you. Nobody cares if you live or die, but you get to smile all the time. Or do you want to be one of the most important people on the planet with a little bit of stress? I am brilliant because I've decided to be brilliant. And if I have to sacrifice happiness to be brilliant, then that's fine. You know what the great thing about it is? You know it's amazing what God gives, how the whole world becomes full circle? If you stop caring about being happy and you start caring instead about being great, guess what you end up being?
Great.
Along with great.
And you know what? Yeah,
Happy. You end up happy if you forget about happiness and try to become great. You will never be successful if you're concerned about being happy, so forget about it.
I'm 34, you're exactly the same age as me. I am too working on myself, trying to build myself up, working on my finances, although they're pretty secure. I'm always trying to do better, and I care about taking care of my mother too. Yeah, I'm certainly not chasing tail around like I was when I was 21, because I've realized as I'm older and smarter that there are better things to do. You are going to need a woman because you are going to need kids, and having kids is a very important mission in any man's life. So yeah, by all means, work on yourself. I don't understand why that would be a negative thing. That's actually a very beautiful thing.
being truly honest, living only for yourself and not taking the time and the financial commitment it takes, the time commitment it takes to procreate, I think would be of ultimately very unhappy life. Shared blood is the best, it's the best way of securing loyalty.
I like to consider myself a wise old man, and I'm trying my best to encourage and instigate a revolution amongst the youth where men take absolute self-accountability and they believe in themselves and they take responsibility for absolutely everything. As a man, you are most formidable if everything is your fault. If it rains outside and you get wet, that is still your fault. Can you control the rain? No. Could you have brought an umbrella? Yes. You need to blame yourself for all things, the good and the bad. And by doing this, you take absolute self-accountability, which allows you to build a mental model in which you will find solutions, 1. 2, avoid trouble, because you know that anything bad happens to you is your fault. And 3, be the most fearsome competitor possible, because we're living in a very competitive world nowadays amongst the elites. The people who understand that you're living inside of a fish tank are trying very hard to get out. And you have to make sure that you can outrun some of them if you want to escape. It's an age-old adage. If a bear is chasing a group of people, you do not have to be the fastest one. You just have to be faster than the slowest. The slowest person is going to die. So as long as you're ahead of the majority of people, you stand a very good chance of avoiding slavery.
As a man who's building an empire, I don't see how I could continue my life if I was not trying to procreate and have children. But yeah, having a daughter and being a father it's absolutely fun. No 22-year-old should be on any kind of steroid. I can see cases for testosterone replacement therapy for people in their upwards of 40, maybe late 30s. I could see the case for that, upping your testosterone level and trying to get your energy levels back to when you were much younger. Do you exercise regularly? Do you eat right? How much alcohol do you drink? Do you smoke? You know, why don't you look at what testosterone is? Look at your current life and your current habits, and try to up your testosterone level naturally. There's no excuse to be injecting anything into your arms at this age. I think that's really pathetic. I believe that the time to get wealthy in an easy and a quick way has run out already. I'm going to tell you why. You've all heard of the gold rush, haven't you? Gold rush was a time when in certain rivers in California, large nuggets of gold were found, and people went nuts. People all moved out to California, and lots of people got very rich because there was gold in the hills, and everyone was panning for gold, searching the rivers for gold, mining for gold. A gold rush has just happened, and the gold rush we've just seen is the easy money there was to make in crypto coins. Bitcoin has a use case, Ethereum has a use case, Chainlink and a few other cryptos have a use case, and they're going to last well on into the future. They might even be the future of currency. People who own them now might be the richest people in the world in 5 or 10 years. But I'll tell you what isn't going to exist. Pump and dump crypto nonsense coins that kids can buy for a few $1,000s and become millionaires overnight. The time of easy money is over. The gold rush is over. There's no more easy money in the way there used to be. There's no way you're going to draw a little pixelated picture of a monkey or a banana or a pig or a ninja and sell it for $600,000 anymore. The NFT craze is over. That goes to show that the easy money days in crypto are completely over. So getting wealthy is possible. It's always been possible. And during the worst recessions in the world, people have made money. Getting rich, possible again, but it's going to take a lot more hard work than it's ever taken before. The days of the free money on the internet have ended, absolutely.
Being a powerful man isn't always about furious anger and instilling fear. As enemies attempt to attack your energy and lower your vibration, understand this: power is untouchable. Power may notice, but it doesn't care. Sometimes power is simply not giving a fuck. Being a powerful man isn't always about furious anger and instilling fear, meaning sometimes it is. You need to retain the capability to instill fear with furious anger. A man who cannot do that is not a man. It is one of the cards you need to have in your deck. However, more often than not, when you're in a true position of power, you will play the alternate card, which I'm describing here as simply not caring. How can you not give a fuck about things? Well, I'll tell you how. If you're filthy rich and you have a strong network of people around you who you trust, and you have a good family, and you have beautiful children, and you have women who love you, and you have beautiful supercars, you live with your best friends in a compound, you have armed guards, and you're proud of yourself, and you're strong, and you train hard every day, and you're monumentally successful, and all of your dreams come true, and if you want something, you can instantly snap it up. You want a Pagani, you want a Bugatti, you want a $25 million apartment, anything you want, you buy. It's very easy to not give a shit about the opinions of people who don't have one fraction of your success. And what these people are trying to do is drag me, I'm using me as an example, but we can also use it for you. When you have true power, they're trying to drag you down. They're not trying to elevate themselves. They're trying to drag you down, which is a very different thing, because it's amazing how God rewards those who are trying to build and create and elevate, and how it punishes those who are simply trying to destroy and be spiteful and negative. And these people are going to dedicate hours and hours and millions of hours of their life towards a certain cause.
Thank you.
To try and drag people down who they cannot affect because they're already too powerful and too large. And they're wasting their own human experience, and they're not progressing or advancing themselves in any way. They will stay brokies, and we will stay rich forever. So the lesson here is that you need to get to a position where ignoring people is a move in which you're guaranteed success. You can ignore people completely and they are benefiting you. And that comes from a position of power. And I think a lot of you at home right now, you may not be in our position, but If you're already working hard, you're already going to the gym, you're already training, you make sure that you're getting as much muscles as possible, as much money as possible, you're dedicated, you don't sleep in, you don't waste your time, you don't smoke weed, you don't play video games, you're focused on trying to become fantastic as a person, you can just ignore that girl. That girl who broke your heart or cheated on you, just ignore her. The most powerful move you can make is ignore her. Yeah, you could yell at her. Yeah, you could try and make her scared of you, blah, blah, right? That's not going to work. The powerful move is just to completely ignore her because you're on your ascent. She is likely on her descent. She likely has no intention of improving herself, no intention of becoming richer, no intention of becoming better looking. Time is against her. As she gets older, she's going to lose her looks. You're going to continue your ascent, and she's going to have to watch you for the rest of her life be the man that she could have been with that she's no longer good enough for. The best thing you can do is simply ignore her. That is the powerful move. And it's the same with also men. It's not even a gendered argument. There's men who want to be your friends right now, who wanted to be your friend, and they did something wrong to you. And if you're on the right path doing the right things, karma, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is going to teach them a lesson for simply failing to be a good person to you while they had the chance. But when you have a whole bunch of money, you take care of the people you love. And that's the masculine prerogative. And even my brother and I, anyone who's been loyal to us, who's on our team, we monumentally reward. And everyone who ever displayed cowardice or sold us out or made mistakes massively regrets it because they see how well we treat the people who are close to us.
You eat McDonald's every day. You know not to do that. So you're trying to get into the specifics without covering the basics. You know what I mean? It's like when people care about fitness, they're like, okay, what's the exact correct technique to lift this and lift that? People who don't train at all, just go running and do some push-ups. Everyone knows like the answers. Step one, stop eating McDonald's every day. Yeah. Like that. Once you do that, worry more about the exact specifics of what you're eating. I'll eat 3,500 calories in a single meal once a day. Yeah, all the time. That's better all the time. That's what I do. It's in the afternoon, not before. So I always go to sleep a bit hungry. You know, I don't have breakfast in the morning. But it's just, I don't even realize I do it. It's how I live.
This is why I don't read self-help books. I believe that is success porn. People read these books about get rich and do well. How many people do I know who've read these books and never got rich? Zero. When they think about reading helps you. Reading is entertainment. So if you read the James Bond novels for entertainment, it's better than watching the James Bond movies. I believe that it's a higher form of entertainment than Netflix and TV, but it's essentially just Netflix for the brain. So, reading is a waste of time if you want to get rich, I agree. But there is one TV show which I'm going to talk about now. And we never talk about it on an Emergency Meeting Live because my brother has not seen this show. But I was at somebody's house about 4 years ago, and I watched episode 1 of a show which has 11 series to it. And it was so excellent that I watched all of it. Now, I believe this TV show to be an intellectual and cultural masterpiece, and it is the greatest show that has ever been broadcast on television. And I'm talking, of course, about the show Trailer Park Boys. The importance of brotherhood and friendship and sticking together is a massive underlying theme of the show. Also, the importance of enjoying your current circumstances. Keep working, keep hustling, keep grinding, try and get out, but enjoy yourself while you're at it. It's a show about perseverance. It's a show about trying to always better your situation. Besides that, TV's a waste of time. Especially the news.
If you lack somewhere, excel somewhere else. Counter your weaknesses by honing other capabilities. If you're ugly, become filthy rich. If you're poor, be as strong as an ox. Life is unfair. The primary focus of your energies is to balance the books.
And there's two different ways you could interpret that. You can, obviously, increase the attributes that you are lacking. If you have the ability to train, because a lot of people don't. Some people are born without arms and legs, but you, with 2 arms and 2 legs, are sitting at home jerking off the Pornhub, flabby and fat. If you have the ability to train, you should be doing it. But also, there are some things that some people are just better at, and you can counteract that problem by teaming up with people who compensate for your weaknesses. People who are strong in areas where you are weak, and you team up with people where you are strong in areas where they are weak. I don't think between the people in this house and our group of friends, we lack anything.
Correct.
Anything. Correct. Literally anything. We can sit as a group and have a conversation about anything with anyone in the world and give useful insight and change people's lives for the better, because although I am not perfect, our team compensates one for each other.
And that's the point of brotherhood. So excel in one area if you lack in others. I have people say to me, Andrew, I'm short. What do? I'm short. Okay, God made you short. Fine, good. Doesn't matter. You can't change it. What you can do is become as strong as an ox and become filthy rich and monumentally important and extremely influential. You can do that. People say, I'm poor. You should be strong. Oh, I'm strong, but I don't have any money. Okay, then teach others to be strong.
Yes.
There's always a way you can take your advantages and use them. And by teaming up with other men, other people, you can build a team in which there are no weaknesses. So if you have a disadvantage, you also have somewhere God has given you a distinct advantage over others. And it is your duty to excel in that realm. It is your duty to become so monumentally influential and powerful within that specific criteria in which you have the capability to be brilliant, that your weaknesses no longer appear because they can be simply overshadowed by your network or overshadowed by your absolute competence. By constructing the correct mindset, you can be in the exact same scenario you're currently in, living the exact same life with a different mental model in which you view the world, and you will not only feel more powerful, you will be more powerful. You'll achieve more amazing things. You will be greater. You will be happier with the same car, the same woman, the same house, the same income, the same everything, but your mind changes the lens in which you view the world. Lenses change things. Rose-tinted glasses, perhaps dark glasses. You can put glasses on, change the lens, and you can view the world differently by changing how your mind is constructed and put together and the way you view the world. That is the point of mental Aikido.